During the past few weeks, a company named Evergrande is the topic of debate and discussion of every news channel, especially when it comes to real estate market. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the Evergrande crisis. But before we start, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos. Now, without any delay, let's begin. Evergrande. Let me tell you that Evergrande is one of the biggest real estate companies in China. The company made its name in developing residential properties. It alone is responsible for 1,300 projects in 280 cities of China. Evergrande is scrambling to repay $300 billion to lenders, suppliers, and investors due to the cash crunch. If Evergrande fails to pay the debt of 1.97 trillion yuan, which equals to 2% of the country's GDP, it will upset the overall real estate market in China, considering that the real estate market alone contributes 29% of the country's total GDP. It is assumed that Evergrande's collapse would be the biggest test that China has financially faced in years. Evergrande was founded in Guangzhou back in 1996 by a Chinese billionaire Xu Jiayin. Evergrande alone is generating 3.8 million jobs in China each year. As it is a conglomerate, it later diversified into electric vehicles, sports, theme parks, food and beverages business, bottled water, groceries, and etc. It also entertains the tourists and its unique theme parks with artificial malls, museums, and amusement parks. What troubles are Evergrande facing? As a conglomerate, Evergrande keep on borrowing money for its other ventures such as the soccer team they bought and a soccer stadium they are in process of building, which costs almost $1.7 billion. The one thing that they didn't realize was this rapid borrowing will further raise their debt to 571.8 billion yuan. It was 716.5 billion yuan at the end of 2020. It sold some of its apartments on low profit margins but at a faster rate to raise cash and to buy more land. In 2020 September, a letter was leaked, allegedly written by Evergrande to the government of China, seeking help for a listing plan. This deeply concerned investors, and the shares in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange market of Evergrande fell from $30 per share to $2 per share. The company denied having written any such letter, but the damage was done. Downfall of Evergrande, at least for China, would be a major disaster that could deeply affect a lot of stakeholders. Many investors are obviously concerned about their potential shares and the dividends, but customers who have already pre-deposited the money for the buildings and those orders are yet to be delivered. These total deposits add up to $1.5 million. Why is Evergrande unable to repay the loan? The news about Evergrande and its downfall spread like a forest fire after Evergrande informed its potential investors on the 14th of September that it may not be able to fulfill the financial obligation it has towards them. The rapid buying of assets and expansion of the business disturbed the liquidity of the business. As already mentioned, that the company has its foot in businesses other than real estate. The company recently tried selling those assets too, but as the word of mouth spread about the bad reputation of the company, many buyers didn't buy the assets, and those who bought them didn't buy at such a price that could repay the debt. Evergrande stretched like a rubber band, and the reckless expansion of the business that took place contributed to the manipulation of the finances of the other stakeholders. The situation of the financial position of the company last year could be blamed on the COVID-19 pandemics, but now, after more than a year, many businesses are getting back on their feet. There is no clarity if the government is supporting Evergrande or not. Practically, the government should support a company that is responsible of even a 2% of the total GDP, and which creates 3.8 million jobs each year. If the company collapses, all those people will be penniless and jobless. Analysts say that even though the government is quiet, but still, it will not let this issue get out of hand and change into a global crisis, and they will be a liability to the government. But it is evaluated that even with cash injections and repayment of a loan it looks impossible to save the company now. The reaction of the stakeholder in China has been insane, as it has reported that earlier this year they asked their employees for a loan and they weren't able to repay it. The major backlash started here, when many employees protested outside the headquarters in Shenzhen. What potential mistakes did Evergrande make? With or without support from the government, Evergrande has no bailout from this situation. The only bailout at the moment is indeed the repayment of the loan. If Evergrande collapses, the Chinese economy and financial system will suffer a huge blow, along with a domino effect on the several other domestic sectors. It will also have an impact on the global economy, especially financial institutions and businesses that are directly and indirectly linked with the business sector. Investors would have to wait to see whether Evergrande defaults on the loan or not. One of the major mistakes made by Evergrande was when it broke the 4 red line rule. The Chinese government made subsidies for the real estate business, during which a lot of real estate companies took loan to buy land for construction purposes. But a time came when Evergrande took so much loan that the government asked the banks not to lend any further money to Evergrande. But up until this time, Evergrande found another source of money, which is WMP Wealth Management Products. They started selling their products on which they promised a fixed return of 8% to 10%. People invested a million and millions of dollars in these schemes, considering the market image and reputation of Evergrande. Evergrande, the Chinese version of Lehman crisis. According to experts, the 2008 crisis was different from Evergrande, and the USA is a powerful economy, and its financial market has a connection with almost every country, whereas China is a closed economy country, and China does not have the same connections when it comes to trade and finances with every country. Yes, the impact of collapse will be huge, but only for China, as real estate contributes almost 30% to China's economy. On the contrary, the construction business is not just about buying and selling of land, but also the material that is used for construction. The countries which were exporting steel to China for construction purposes may take a step back or will be hit by Evergrande's downfall a little bit, but that's about it. The reason why many people related to what happened with the Lehman Brothers is that, like Evergrande, they also went bankrupt. But their issue affected many stakeholders in and outside the country and impacted all markets across the world. That is the fear many investors all around the world have right now, that this collapse is going to hit them hard too. But that's not the case, as these investors are not related to Evergrande as a company, but the people who are related to the company will have their obligations, and we will deeply have impacted by any step that is taken by Evergrande. That's all for today's video, and thanks for watching it. If you like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to share your thoughts and valuable feedback with us in the comments section below. And while you're here, click to watch one of these 2 videos that are appearing on your screen. I will see you there. Take care and stay tuned.